Well, I'm delighted to say that joining me on the Godcast today is Jodie Prenger, who will be familiar to many of you from those of you who enjoy the world of theatre and television and entertainment. Jodie's probably best known for winning the TV series I Do Anything, and we'll perhaps talk about that in a little while. Jodie, it's really great to welcome you to the Godcast. How are you doing?
Well, I've only agreed to do this if you give me your dog Jasper, so there you go. It's
For those who
I'm
can't see
good.
it,
I'm good. I'm coping. No, I like to say coping. Coping's a good word.
yeah.
But yeah, are you okay?
I'm all right. Yeah, I'm okay. I've got over. I had COVID. I've got over it now, and looking forward to
Did
the summer.
you?
Yeah, I've had it. Yeah, yeah, it was horrible.
When did you have it? Has it been recently, or was it kind of
Just after
at the
Christmas, had it.
beginning?
Just got on the 5th of Jan. 4 of the family had it, and I probably got it the worst. I was really quite poorly, but back on it now. Fortunately, I wasn't in hospital, but you know, but anyway. So, Jodie,
It's scary, isn't
it
it?
is. It's horrible. It's horrible. So it's not. It's lovely to have a fellow Lancastrian on the Godcast. A Blackpool lass.
What do you mean? I'm from Hampshire. I don't understand what no, I'm joking.
You know
Not
better.
at all.
Don't you?
Blackpool born and bred.
Yeah, north, central,
Blackpool
or
born.
south.
Well, was I grew up in the hub of everything because my mum and my dad and my nan and my granddad had a B&B.
Right.
So I grew up right next door to Coral Island for the
Oh, did
first
you?
8 years, and then yeah, I did. My nan used to take my granddad always used to take me out in my pram to get out of making dinner for all the guests. And then my nan used to take me, we used to go to Coral Island and so yeah, lots of fun memories.
Do you know the lady who's now my wife? We had our first, what should I say, weekend away together. I think is it Vance Road, just across the way,
Did she? Where
just across the road from Coral Island. It could have been in your very own guest house.
it could have been. If you stayed in the Hollies or Mount Pleasant, it would have been me, that either of my family members serving you. Oh, you do know how to treat a woman.
It
I'm
was about
surprised she stayed with you, to be fair.
I was on about 18. It was all I could afford at the time. It still is actually.
Oh,
So, so were you into the theatre world as a kid then? Did you go to the summer season shows? You get free tickets being in the guest house industry.
yeah. I mean, yeah. I remember my nan taking me to see, like, the Russ Abbotts and the Brian Connollys, and it was always something that was part of growing up. I mean, my mum and dad had the hotel till I was 8 years old, and I remember very, very early on seeing the acts that used to come in, and I think that was the one thing that really, I don't know, bewildered me. And my mum and my dad, and I'm sure they don't mind me saying this, are not theatrical in the slightest. My granddad could play 3 songs on the organ, could never figure out what 2 of them were. So it was just not I don't know, a musical theatrical family. So yeah, it came from the acts and the summer seasons, and I just loved it. I
Was
just
there,
suppose my nan used to be friends with Daniel. So.
do you know what? This is just weird because when I took my dear now wife to Blackpool, we went to see Danny LaRue in Panto at the Blackpool Grand, I think it was.
Did you?
So yeah, so I was into all that. Yeah, he was a superstar, wasn't he, Danny LaRue?
Oh, it was. There's a great story about Daniel LaRue, and I can't remember exactly what theatre it was, but it was a theatre that didn't allow his dog. So he got to the stage door and they said, sorry, Danny, that you can't bring your dog in here. And apparently he turned round and he went, no dog, no Danny. And then literally they got his dog into the theatre.
Should I try that at
So yeah, a man after
church,
my own
Jodie?
heart.
Do you think if they don't like Jasper in?
You know,
No dog.
are you not allowed pets?
Well, yeah, but
Why you should do that? I think that'd be brilliant. Bring your pet. I mean, you'd have to wipe down the pews at the end of a service, but apart from that, you'd be fine.
indeed. Was there a shot Blackpool, Jodie, that sticks out in your mind as a young person that you thought, wow, that kind of
Not really. I remember the first. Yeah, I mean, it was entertainment was everywhere, and it's great to see it, coming back. But I remember my nan taking me to watch 42nd Street at the Grand, and I just, again, as a child, you remember getting bowled over by it. So yeah, so that's the first show I actually remember seeing and watching with my nan. And of course, you got the ballroom. We took. I mean, I still take it for granted.
Mm,
We used to go dancing in there, and it's stunning. It's absolutely
it is.
magnificent,
Yeah, and the Grand's a beautiful
that
theatre as
building.
well, isn't
Yeah, it
it?
really is
Yeah. And were you?
gorgeous.
Yeah.
It's one of the first original Matcham theatres, and he kind of has built theatres across the country. And you do know when touring, when you get into a Matcham theatre, the acoustics are fantastic. But it was one of his favourite theatres ever. There you
Yeah,
go.
it's still one of my favourite theatres. I love it. I can't. I used to go and watch Les Dawson in Run for Your Wife. He was in there for all that.
Awesome.
Yeah, all that. So were you kind of in the shows at school? Were you kind of lead singer in the, in the school production, or?
Well, yeah, lead male singer. I'm afraid I went to a girls' school, and I was always yeah. I always played the male parts. Whether it be HMS Pinafore to the Mikado. I was always, Phantom of the Opera, one of Andrew's. And it was only really the first ever experience I had with the kind of the most magnificent world we call theatre was I went to the National Youth Theatre. Um, and that's the first probably time I got to play a female role. It was
Right,
all the male roles at school.
right. And
But they
was
were really supportive.
yeah, yeah. I used to love my school productions. Can I ask you about religion just briefly, Jodie? Was the family religious in any way? Was an important part of upbringing, or was it not really mentioned?
Yeah, my dad's family, they were Protestant. My dad was Dutch, and then they emigrated to Canada. And then we used to go meet up in Florida. So my dad was Protestant and my mum was Catholic. And I remember apparently at a very young age, I remember saying, why do they always have to tell a story before we eat? When everyone was praying. I was like, I never understood it. So I've grown up around religion. I wouldn't say I am a really religious person, but it's grown up around me. And I went to a Church of England school, so I think I've experienced virtually every
Yeah.
every form of religion going.
Have you played many religious roles? Have you, done the old Jesus Christ Superstar or anything like that, or?
I don't think I look like a Mary. No, I haven't done it. We sang one of the songs for you on the show, but I don't think I could call Andrew up and go, "Hey, Andrew, can I have a go at Mary?" I just don't think it's me.
Yeah. So how did the theatre stuff progress? Did you do it at college, or did you join a theatre? How
Yeah, I went to do a kind of a BTEC thing, and then I think it's just that thing in you. Just, I suppose it's like you know what path you've got in life, and I've just taken loads of detours to get on that path. And I think once we did the actual reality show, I think everyone thought, for the majority of the girls, that we'd just gone, right, I want to be famous, and it was never like that. I
Mm,
tried so much to get into the West End, and it just didn't work. And tried different avenues, but it was just, yeah, a dream to sing on a West End stage or just be part of a company. So yeah, it was brilliant. Great experience. Really
yeah.
was brilliant.
So were you making a living doing the cabaret clubs and things like that?
Yeah, did loads of the cabaret clubs, and I did loads of gay bars. That they were just amazing because I could sing all the songs, and yeah, that's where I absolutely loved it. And then, yeah, I kind of gave up. I used to be a nail technician. Don't look at my nails right now. Um, but yeah, kind of gave up a bit, really. I didn't. And then the show come around, and it was just like this quick whirlwind that kind of took my life, flipped it over,
Mm,
and then just threw me back out again.
yeah. What I love about you, Jodie, is you've been there. You've earned your stripes, haven't you? The way
You can't say I've been around.
No,
Don't
I wouldn't say that.
I've not just earned the stripe. I've bought every t-shirt in every size,
I wouldn't
bought
say
every
that.
ashtray, and never got to take it.
But I do think there's something that makes the story even better, doesn't it? That you've had to really work and grind it out, and then the fact I mean I've grown up in Lancashire, so when you talk about some of the settings that you probably played, I can imagine them in my mind in Blackpool and Manchester and places like that, and that's not diminishing them in any way because they're fantastic, but to get to that level, it's a big step, isn't it?
I just look, never be ashamed of where you come from, never be scared of where you're going. And I don't think I could be the person I am today if I didn't do all that stuff in my past, if I didn't kind of get my poor dad to lug all my speakers into these little clubs, and I had some of the best
Yeah.
times. And I still think back fondly to now, the laughter I've been grateful to experience in my life, not everybody has that kind of facility or the job that they can do it.
Mm.
Um, no, I did. I'm just, yeah, always been very grateful, and like my nan, always roll my sleeves up and get on with it for the next job.
Didn't you do a season at Alton Towers on the show things? Tell us about that. I bet there was some laughs there, weren't there?
Oh no, honestly, Alex, you'll laugh. I always remember I did it. So they did like a show on ice, but I wore golf shoes. And then it was
Didn't you,
it was basically
Jodie,
you just
Jodie,
it was a like
Jodie, Jodie,
Halloween thing.
Jodie? Did you not have a
Go
non-skating
on.
part in a skating show? Is that right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. That's basically how I roll. That's how. So we went on, but the funny part was I was like, oh, going to be this big independent thing. Right, I'm going away from home, mum and dad. I'm going to go live this like little kind of season in Alton Towers. I'll find accommodation. Well, I've got this caravan. Oh, well, I had to get my dad to come and get me out. I went, I can't stay here. There was bugs climbing up the wall, and I was like, oh, I've got to get out. But do you know what? I had a brilliant time, and I'm still, funny enough, I'm still in touch with a couple of people from the show. So it's just, yeah, it's really
Yeah.
funny that, yeah.
So how did this show, The Biggest Loser, come about? Was this part of a game plan for you? Was this kind of just trying to get some notoriety, or was it part of a bigger picture, or was it
No,
just for a laugh?
no, I think no, I think well, it wasn't funny really, to be fair. I think I my nan says if it's meant for you, it will not pass you by. Look at me with all my sayings. But I and I still do, to be fair, struggle my way. It's never been an issue that's just gone away and I've never thought about it. And then it was the American series, and I remember sitting in the living room with my mum and just sobbing, going, because at the time I was about, I think, about 22 stone, I think just over that. And I got to the point where I didn't want to weigh myself. So I'm saying I was over. And then it was just on. And these women had just transformed their lives. And I just sobbed. And then at the end, it said if you want to apply for the UK, TV show. And I just looked at my mum. And then again, that's just how it happened. And it was the worst part of it is for the quote, the meeting, the audition. I don't know why I do that. I hate people that do that. You had to stand there in a swimming costume and turn around, and it was just like I just felt so ashamed. But yeah, and again, I went in and there was a doctor there, and he said, I think you'd be great for the show, but you do know a female can never win it. And I was like, oh, really? So again, that gave me the little fire in me little chubby belly to go in. Well, it wasn't little, to go and just do it. And I was the first female to win it. So I was like,
Yeah.
yes to the girls. But
Right.
yeah, that was a great experience.
And was there any spin-offs from that? Was it good for your career, that show?
Look, I think in a way, if I hadn't have done that show, I don't know if I would have been able to do the Nancy or look, I never know. I mean, no matter no matter what I do, whether it was the weight loss show, they said I could never do it. And even when I went into Nancy, they called me too old and too fat, and I still got there. Do you know what I mean? It's that kind of going. It's that I'm defiant, but in a good way. Yeah,
Yeah.
defiance in a good way.
And after that, how did the you called it the Nancy thing? I think its official title is anything. Was it
I
I'd do anything? How did that come about? Did you have to audition to be one of the people to audition on the live show?
Yeah, you went in. Yeah, you you went in. Funny enough that the real and I always tell the stories, so I'm sure people will be sick of me saying it, but I genuinely did kind of give up. And one of the last things I ever went for was Hairspray, the West End version. And there was a guy called David Grinrod, who's a big West End or kind of the UK casting director. And I remember him coming out and just going, "Not this time, sweetheart." And it broke me that. So I didn't do anything for gosh years, and then the Nancy thing was on the radio. Went in for that, and the irony was it was David Grinrod who was auditioning. So I
Really?
always yeah, so I always say, look, this business, this industry. I'm just watching my chickens fly across the window, making sure they're all right. This industry is harsh, and it's probably going to be the harshest it's ever been after this pandemic. So I just want to say to people, just stick in there because
Yeah.
it will come if you carry on with your
Yeah.
passion. So
It's a
yeah,
tough role, isn't it? Jodie, when I was ordained at the do my studies, and when I went to get my degree, I'll never forget. It was in Carlisle Cathedral, and there was about six of us, six theologians getting our awards, and must have been the day for all the kind of performing arts degrees to be handed out, and there were literally hundreds of them, and I do think I remember thinking to myself, where are they all going to work? It is like you said, it's a tough old industry, isn't it? It's a bit like trying to be a Premiership footballer.
I know. So are you Church of England Protestant? Which one are you?
Church of England. I'm one of them. I'm a Church
Church
of
of,
England.
which one are you?
Yeah, I'm Church of England. Yeah, I'm a Church of England one. Yeah, yeah. I have a wife and I have children, so and I have a church and two dogs.
I always get mixed up. Mind you, I wasn't too. I can't really talk. Can I talk? I wasn't too happy what they said about gay marriage on that.
Mhm.
That was just released, wasn't it? I was like, oh man, really?
Yeah, that
You
was the
know,
Roman
it's just
that was the
that
Roman
thing of
Catholic Church. Yeah, and well,
yeah.
it is a tricky old one. I mean, yeah, but we're a full inclusive church, and I've got a lot of gay friends, so I'm trying to be a voice for them if I can, certainly in the church circles. Anyway, it's
Yeah.
not about me, Geordie. I want to know about this show because I love Oliver Twist. I grew up watching it. I had this dream that I was going to be in the theatre, and I one day. You talked about Russ Abbott earlier. Let's see Russ Abbott play Fagin in Manchester. I thought I'd love to be Fagin.
Hey, funny you should say that. So there was a couple of weeks. I don't think Rowan Atkinson, because we had Rowan Atkinson, Omar Jalili, and Griff Rhys Jones. And then Rowan Atkinson he was gone for a couple of weeks, but Russ Abbott came in to play him. I was like, oh my God, it was all my childhood. So did you see him in Manchester then? Is
I'm
that
in
where you
Manchester.
saw him?
Yeah. So I mean, and I thought it was wonderful. Yeah, and the songs are just brilliant, aren't they? I was watching you earlier on YouTube
I mean,
singing "As Long as He Needs Me," and yeah, it's just magnificent. The lyrics are just magnificent. They get me every time.
it was such a shame, wasn't it? Because that was, I think that's one of his best works. And then Twang came afterwards. And he's of an ilk, Lionel Bart, that you just wanted to see another three of his shows.
Mm.
It's like so many kind of like Noel Coward is another one. I'd love to see another three of his shows. I just wish,
Yeah,
and like Tom Dime's still with us. I want him to write another three shows, before anything happens.
yeah.
Anyway.
And in that show, Jodie, how soon in did you think I'm in with a fighting chance here?
Never, honestly, I never did. To the
Yeah.
point, to the point where my mum and dad saw I was getting really upset because we got bits of fan mails and stuff like that. But a couple of the girls would get teddies, and I was like, "Mum, do you know what I mean? I didn't even get a teddy, and honestly, I don't think I've got it, but I'm having a really lovely time." And and I only found this out afterwards. My mum and dad sent me in teddies. They were fans, but
Really?
they're really for my mum.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah. So I honestly, genuinely didn't, and it was that
yeah.
kind of. It was just weird to keep going through week after week. It was just a weird feeling because you didn't. I think because I'd had so many knockbacks, but I just love being there. I love
Mm,
being able to sing those songs, and
mm.
not everyone's given that opportunity. So it was, yeah.
And
I was just happy to be there. To be fair.
yeah, and winning it, um, when so all your dreams come true when you win it, has that proved to be the case that all your dreams have come true?
It's right. It sounds corny, but it is kind of true. It is kind of like, yeah, that's. I wish I could find another way that doesn't sound like I'm giving a Miss World speech when I say it is like all my dreams come true. But it is, I stood on that stage, and I even remember one of the first days I actually just walked on the stage when there wasn't that many people around, and just literally just
Mhm.
floods tears like, "Oh, this is the real theatre, this is it." And so yeah, so it was just, yeah, it was everything I expected it to be. So
What do you remember that first night? Have you got any memories? Is it just a bit of a daze?
actually, do probably not. It was the most petrifying experience and experience I've had, and I've jumped out of a plane where there was a group of Germans kept farting inside, so I had to get out. So I've literally experienced true fear. Um, and yeah, nothing. I don't think anything has come close to the fear of that initial first night.
Yeah.
Every press night is nerve wracking, but that one was the worst.
Yeah, and I was looking at I was looking at just doing a bit of research and about like you said that Andrew and Cameron you weren't their first choice. Do you feel like you won them over through your performances? Because I also watched John Gretton Norton saying I'll show
I,
them.
no, I do you know what? Everyone says that they weren't very nice to you, but I worked hard and they've both booked me since. So they so there you go. So yeah, I did yeah, since I did Les Mis for Cameron and I've done Tell Me a Sunday for Andrew. So and they have been really, really supportive. So as much as it was a horrible night, I can't call them because it's just been they've been a really lovely supportive friendship
Yeah.
ever since.
And since then, your career has just been great, hasn't it? You've done loads. I was looking at what you've done. You've done all sorts. And have you got away from that big TV genre, reality show that brought people to the stage? Have you got highlights? You've done loads of other shows. Is there a show that sticks out in your mind as a real joy as well,
Yeah,
or all of it?
there's so many like yeah, I don't know, it's really weird, isn't it? Because you kind of go, there's so it's lovely to play so many different parts. Like I could never compare, say Shirley Valentine to the Lady of the Lake or Miss Hannigan to Dolly in One Man Two Governors, and again, well, Helen in Taste of Honey. It's lovely to kind of be able to kind of go between these parts, these you know really outspoken women. I think that's the vein, isn't it? Kind of bolshy women is my pigeonhole I'm very comfortable in. But yeah, no, it's brilliant. And we've gone down the avenue where we now, it's been a joy to have the stuff that you write out in the public forum. And so I've just got to keep working. But I do laugh, I've got a lot of animals to feed. So I've just got to keep earning the pennies.
So have you got a farm? Have you or something?
I've got a farm. I've got a farm now, but we're moving.
Right.
And like I said, but we've got some extra land, so I need to build stuff for my animals to live in. So
So are you a southern country bumpkin now, or are you still up north?
I'd say no, 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 no. I did my living in London, and I still flip back and forth if there's work there and such. But no, I'm kind of settled in the north because my mum's here, and it's just nice to be here. My fella's business is all based up here, so it's just I don't know. I do believe what Dorothy says. It's there's no place like home. So it's just I'm kind of stuck here, really, or
Yeah.
they're stuck with me, I should say.
So what kind of songs do you like then, Joe? You know, I always wonder this when celebs like yourself, when you're doing the washing or the ironing or whatever, or in the garden or feeding the chickens.
Oh no,
What?
I don't do the washing and the ironing.
All right,
Oh
okay.
no, no, no. That was my fella's really clean. Do you know what my music list is like? It's like it's got Tourette's. It's just got everything in it from Irish to jazz to classical to musicals. It's got everything in it. What kind of music do you like? Do you like listening to? Do you play a lot of music in church in that?
Well,
Or
it's more contemporary hymns, but I love music. I'm an '80s kid, so I love synth pop. But I love the musicals. I quite like Take That. I've seen Take That a few times. I'd love to get Gary Barlow on here, but I'm not having much joy at the moment. But my daughter, I've got two teenage daughters, and my daughter, I'm surprised I can't hear her now. She loves singing the musicals, but she's singing, and she's got this real thing about what is a musical and what isn't. So, like something like Mamma Mia, as far as she's concerned, it's not a musical. It's got to be Oliver, or it's
why
got
is
to
it?
be 42nd Street, or it's got to be one of the classics. She just
There's
thinks,
that many genres of musicals now. Musicals now are coming right smack up today.
yeah,
Like with the success of Six and Jamie, and it's just yeah. And then Back to the Future is amazing. I've not seen it, but if you
ah,
like your 80s, apparently
right.
that's amazing.
And my youngest, if she's well, we just have Alexander Hamilton, that one, all the time in the car.
Oh, okay,
It's like, oh no,
that one. We did the we wrote I wrote with a pal, and we did the panto for the Turbine Theatre in London, and we rewrote the Schuyler Sisters. That was a lot of fun. But
yeah,
some lyrics I can't remember, but it was a lot of
right,
fun.
okay. You got me thinking about Blackpool. I remember seeing Jim Davidson in. This is when he was really popular and not as controversial in Cinderella with a capital S.
Oh, this in yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
at the Opera House in Blackpool with Charlie Drake was in it. It's probably before your time, that.
But you forget, don't you? You forget Frank Sinatra came here,
Mhm.
and Judy Garland came here, and Bob Hope came here. Everybody, it's actually quite nice because we're just working on some property in the town itself. It's nice to see the regeneration going on, and apparently
Mm.
they're building. Well, you know where Coral Island is,
Mm.
and then at the back there's a massive car park. That's going to be a big indoor theme park and a
Right.
big kind of high rise theatre. So you're like, yeah,
Yeah. I
you
love
know,
Blackpool.
yeah, I always love it. It's me.
Yeah.
You know.
It's got its issues. I've got some
Like
friends
you
who.
don't gas them all though.
Oh, he's lost. Isn't there talking? Yeah. So, have you got some shows in the pipe? We'll wrap up soon, Jodie. I know you're a busy lady, but have you got some shows in the pipeline? What's coming up?
Yeah, there's one. Yeah, there's one out at the minute which is on the Sheffield Crucible website. That's on demand. I'm not too sure how much longer that's on, but it's a brand new play by Chris Bush, which is just brilliant, singing all the music from Sheffield. And then there's another, I don't think I can say, but there's something happening at Hope Mill Theatre in the near future. And then there's another project. Oh, I can't. There's two more projects happening, but I can't really
Hmm.
say anything.
That's
I've been
like
told off in the past.
that's an answer you give to telly people. I'm just a vicar.
Oh,
You can,
do you know? I've got in trouble so much because I've just gone, oh, and this is happening and this is happening. And then I get a phone call going, Jodie, you really shouldn't say that. I was like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. But yeah, there's two more things. But I promise I'll keep you posted.
yeah. Do you do stuff in the town with the because I would guess there's quite a few theatre schools in Blackpool. Do you help? Do you get stuck into those sometime and turn out? And
Yeah, funny enough, we've just wrote a musical for the University of Lancaster. So they're recording it and they can just regroup with the new rules together for the final scene. But we've wrote a musical and they're actually all filming it on Zoom as we are
right,
now. And yeah, so just help out where I can. And then I started up a thing called Vocal Home, which is a non-profit kind of organization where we just, people come to train with all the people from the West End, and then £1 goes to charity, and then the rest of the money goes back to, to the arts.
Do you think anybody can sing, Jodie?
You've got to do what you can.
Do you think anybody can sing?
Do you know what yeah, yeah. Because do you know, funny you should say that, because my fella Simon, he when he sings, he does like a horrible, like a really weird opera thing. And then the other day I says, just drop your voice a bit and just sing almost like sing as you would talk. And he's got quite a fair voice in him. So yeah, I do believe
Right,
mind you, there are the tone deaf that.
Jodie, listen, I try and make
Just,
my interviews
yeah.
a bit different. So hopefully this hasn't been run of the mill. I've never sung with anybody famous, so can we sing something?
What do you want to sing?
Sing something from Oliver. What should we sing?
Right. Do you know Papa?
Yeah. You start it off.
There's a little ditty. There's a ditty, especially when they've been on the gin or the beer. If you've got the patience, your imaginations will tell you just exactly what you want to hear. Are you ready? Papa, papa.
That's how it goes. Papa, everyone knows. You've made.
I take it back. I'm joking.
Made a middle-aged man very happy there. I can say I've sung with Jodie Prenger, star of the West End, and you can say.
I can say yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately he did.
No, it wasn't. You know what? It was an attempt. It was an attempt, and we're all better to attempt than not to have tried.
I'll not quit the day job. Jodie, it's been really lovely chatting to you, and I'm delighted that you joined my wonderful list of guests on the Godcast. And if anybody wants to catch any more of these, got some fantastic guests. Come on, and we've got some great guests lined up. But Jodie, it's been really wonderful, and we send our love from Burnley.
Thank you very much for having me. Thank you for rethinking things. See a wave as you go by.
Jodie, thanks very much.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye.
Thanks.